They came to conquer us with fleets of steel and mines of fire. We greeted them with cat videos, dance challenges, and sarcasm strong enough to fracture empires. This is not a war story. This is the cautionary tale of how Earth's most powerful weapon was Wi-Fi. These recordings shall serve as a warning to all who dare challenge the peculiar species known as humans. I must document our gravest military failure, not for historical preservation, but as a cautionary tale for future generations. Our first encounter with Earth occurred during what they called their year Twinta 157. I remember standing on the bridge of our flagship, the Eternal Dawn, watching the blue-green planet rotate lazily on our main display. My second in command, Commander Lyra Knox, stood beside me, her four eyes blinking in synchronized confusion. "Another primitive civilization, Admiral?" she asked, mandibles clicking with obvious disdain. "Their orbital stations are practically antiques, and their planetary defense systems would barely survive a meteor shower." I agreed with her assessment then. How foolish we were. The humans had scattered their primitive satellites across their orbital spaces like children's toys. Their radio waves carried the most bizarre entertainment signals, something they called reality shows and social media. Everything about them screamed vulnerability. "Begin standard resource assessment," I ordered, following our conquest protocols. We had subjugated 17 civilizations before Earth. Each one fell within our carefully calculated parameters. The Valorian Empire never failed. The initial scan showed promise. Earth possessed abundant water, rare minerals, and most importantly, a substance our scientists designated as Compound K7. This compound, when properly refined, could power our fleet for centuries. It was exactly what we needed to fuel our expansion across the galaxy. "Admiral," Lieutenant Drav called from his monitoring station, "I'm detecting unusual patterns in their military responses to our presence." I waved away his concerns. "Standard defensive posturing. All species react similarly when they first detect us." But Rex persisted, his scaled skin shifting to a worried purple hue. "Sir, they're not following any known response patterns. Their military vessels are maintaining irregular formations, and their communications, they're still broadcasting entertainment signals as if we decimally don't exist." "They underestimate us," Commander Vix suggested, her tone dripping with amusement. "Perhaps they believe we are simply passing through." I should have listened more carefully to Rex's concerns. Should have noticed how the humans barely reacted to our presence. Should have wondered why their military ships performed seemingly random maneuvers instead of establishing defensive positions. We spent 3 full cycles observing Earth, gathering data, and preparing our assessment report for the High Command. During this time, the humans continued their daily routines. Their ships sailed their oceans. Their aircraft traversed their skies. Their citizens posted endless streams of what they called memes about our presence. "Look at this, Admiral," Commander Vix said one day, displaying a human social media feed. "They are making jokes about us, something called alien invasion bingo. They have turned our arrival into entertainment." The High Command received our report with great interest. Earth's resources, particularly Compound K7, made it a valuable target. The humans' apparent lack of advanced defensive capabilities made them an easy conquest. Everything pointed to a swift and efficient campaign. "Send the standard warning transmission," I ordered, following protocol. "Give them 1 planetary rotation to surrender." Rex's scales shifted to an even deeper purple. "Sir, about their communications. Is there a problem, Lieutenant?" "No, sir. It's just they are responding to our transmission with something called A GIF. It appears to be an animated image of a human rolling their eyes. Commander Vix laughed. They truly don't understand the gravity of their situation. I remember smiling then, my facial ridges expanding with confidence. They will learn soon enough. Prepare the fleet for combat operations. If only I had known then that the humans' apparent dismissal of our presence wasn't ignorance or arrogance. It was the first move in a game we didn't even know we were playing, a game we were destined to lose. The War Council meeting lasted precisely 2 hours. 17 holograms flickered around our strategic table, each representing a fleet commander from our previous conquests. Their confidence bolstered mine as we drafted our declaration of war. "The invasion fleet stands ready, Admiral," reported Commander Vix, her voice carrying that familiar pre-victory purr. "We have more pressing matters in the Centauri systems." Tactician Invaders stepped forward, her tentacles gracefully manipulating the holographic display. "Our analysis suggests their most formidable weapons are nuclear-based, primitive. Our shields can withstand 1,000 such detonations without failing." "What of their ground forces?" asked Commander Vix. "Laughably obsolete," Mira replied, bringing up detailed scans. "Projectile weapons, combustion engine vehicles, and basic body armor. They still use chemical explosives, for Star's sake." The council chamber filled with amused trills and clicks. Such primitive defenses against our quantum weaponry. It would be less a war and more a harvesting operation. "Send the formal declaration," I commanded. "Standard format, translated into their primary languages." Lieutenant Drav, still displaying that annoying purple worry color, spoke up. "Sir, about the translation. What is it now, Lieutenant?" "The humans have thousands of languages, sir, and their response to our previous communication was unusual." I waved away his concerns. "Send it in their top 20 languages. That should suffice." The declaration was appropriately magnificent, crafted over centuries of conquest. "To the governing authorities of Earth, your planet has been selected for integration into the Valorian Empire. Your resources are required for the greater glory of our civilization. Resistance will result in immediate planetary bombardment. You have 6 hours to surrender unconditionally. This is our first and final warning." We transmitted the message on all frequencies, even broadcasting it through their primitive internet networks. The response time would tell us much about their command structure. 3 hours passed. "Any response, Lieutenant?" I asked Rex. "Yes, sir. Multiple responses, actually, but what?" "They are responding with something called memes again, sir, and video clips from their entertainment media. One appears to be from something called Princess Bride, where a human says, 'Welcome to the party, pal.'" Commander Vix hissed in frustration. "They still don't take us seriously." "There is one official response," Rex added, his scales now almost midnight purple, "from their United Nations Security Council." "Display it," I ordered. The message was brief. "Dear Valorian Empire, thank you for your interest in Earth. While we appreciate your offer of integration, we must respectfully decline. Please feel free to try again during our next open application period, and approximately never. Best regards, Humanity. P.S. You may want to check your ship's engines. They are looking a bit funny." The council chamber erupted in outrage. Such insolence, such disrespect. The humans weren't just refusing our generous offer, they were mocking us. "Prepare for immediate attack," I commanded, my facial ridges flaring with anger. No more protocol, no more waiting. "Launch all ships." As our fleet moved into attack formation, I noticed Lieutenant Drav checking and rechecking our engine diagnostics. His worry was infectious, but I dismissed it. What could these primitives possibly know about our quantum drive systems? I would soon learn that asking that question was my second mistake. The first had been assuming we understood anything about humanity at all. The first sign that something was terribly wrong came when our forward fleet reached Earth's moon. Our sensors detected no defensive installations, no hidden weapons platforms, nothing but those primitive landing sites from their early space program. Yet every one of our crew members reported the same unsettling sensation, a feeling of being watched. Admiral Commander Vix called out, her usual confidence wavering. We are receiving a direct transmission. It's different from their previous communications. The main screen activated, revealing a human female in a dark blue uniform adorned with gleaming medals. Her silver hair was pulled back severely, but her smile, that smile still haunts my nightmares. Greetings, Admiral Zarn Volaris. I am General Mara Steele, Earth Defense Force. I must congratulate you on your punctuality. We have been expecting you. The way she said my name sent ripples of unease through my scales. How did she know it? We had never included personal identifiers in our transmissions. Your surrender is accepted, I replied, maintaining protocol despite my discomfort. Prepare your world for integration. General Stone's smile widened. Oh, but Admiral, we haven't even given you our welcoming gift yet. Tell me, have your crew members been sleeping well? Before I could respond, Lieutenant Rick's monitoring station erupted with alerts. Sir, multiple ships reporting system anomalies. The crew of the Star Weaver is requesting immediate emergency dock. They are reporting hallucinations. Impossible, Commander Vix snapped. Our neural shields prevent any form of psychological warfare. General Stone leaned forward in her transmission. Commander Lyra Knox, born in the Rigel system, third daughter of Fleet Master Vix. Tell me, do you still have nightmares about the Crimson Academy incident? Vix stumbled backward, her four eyes widening in terror. That incident was classified at the highest levels. Even I didn't know the details. What you are experiencing is just the beginning, Stone continued, her voice taking on an almost motherly tone. We have had decades to study your neural patterns, your psychological weaknesses. Every scout ship you sent gave us more data. Every transmission helped us refine our methods. More emergency signals flooded our command center. Ships were reporting equipment malfunctions that our diagnostics couldn't verify. Crew members were requesting medical evaluation for symptoms our scanners couldn't detect. Admiral Rix called out his scales, now almost black with fear. The Eternal Light is reporting their entire crew is hearing singing. Something about a small world and people holding hands. I watched in horror as one of our Devastator-class ships suddenly broke formation, its captain screaming about shadows moving against vacuum. Another reported their navigation systems were showing them inside a gas giant, despite being clearly visible in orbit. You see, Admiral, General Stone continued, we knew you were coming. Not just recently, we have known for decades. Those reality shows you monitored, carefully crafted psychological profiles of your species, those social media posts, data gathering about your reactions, even those memes were tests, measuring your cultural comprehension and points of confusion. A new transmission cut through our emergency channels, a simple melody that our linguists identified as something called Ice Ice Baby. 3 ships immediately jumped to hyperspace, their crews in complete panic. Your neural shields are impressive, Stone acknowledged. They completely block traditional psychological warfare. But did you ever consider that we might use them as conduits instead? Every defense you built became a pathway into your minds. The tactical display showed our fleet formation crumbling. Ships were either retreating or moving in random patterns, their crews no longer responding to commands. And through it all, General Stone watched with that terrible knowing smile. "We could have built bigger guns," she explained. "Could have developed super weapons or death rays or any of those things you expected, but we learned something from studying your previous conquests. You never faced an enemy who weaponized your own fears." "This is impossible," I whispered, watching my invasion force disintegrate without a single shot fired. "You are primitives. Your technology is exactly what we wanted you to see." Stone's image started to fade. "Oh, and Admiral, that compound case 7 you detected, we manufactured it specifically to attract your attention. The real trick was making you think you discovered it on your own." As her transmission ended, our ship's systems began displaying an endless stream of something humans called cute cat videos. The effect on our crew was devastating. We had no defense against such psychological warfare. How could we fight an enemy who turned our own minds against us? The last thing I heard before ordering a full retreat was a human song playing through all our channels, something about giving us up, letting us down, and deserting us. The humans called it being Rick-rolled. We called it the beginning of our nightmare. 3 planetary rotations after our first catastrophic encounter, I made the decision to launch a second offensive. Our medical teams had purged the psychological attacks from our systems, or so we thought. I ordered our most hardened veterans to lead the charge, warriors who had conquered worlds across 3 galaxies. "All ships, maintain radio silence," I commanded from our new flagship, the Cosmic Spear. "They cannot infiltrate our minds if they cannot reach our communications." Commander Vix had been replaced after her breakdown. My new second-in-command, Commander Rel, stood at attention, his warrior implants glowing beneath his scales. "The humans will not find our minds so easily penetrated this time, Admiral." How wrong we were. Our first wave approached Earth's atmosphere in complete silence. No transmissions, no quantum communications, nothing that could carry their psychological weapons. That is when we discovered just how deep their trap really went. "Admiral," the pilot of scout ship Razor Wing reported, "we are detecting unusual patterns in Earth's magnetic field. They appear to be dancing." Before I could respond, scout ship Razor Wing vanished, not destroyed, not damaged, simply gone, as if it had never existed. "Scanning for debris," Troll announced, his implants pulsing faster. "Nothing, sir. No explosion, no energy signature. The ship just ceased to be." 2 more scout ships disappeared in the next hour. Each vanished without trace, their crews lost to whatever human sorcery awaited in Earth's orbit. That is when we received the transmission not through our communications systems, but somehow projected directly into our bridge through what appeared to be a coffee mug left by one of our crew members. A hologram materialized, showing a human male in a white laboratory coat casually sipping from an identical mug. "Hello, Admiral Nexus. Dr. Felix Marr, Project Nightmare lead scientist. I trust you are enjoying our little demonstration." "How are you broadcasting through a beverage container?" Tral demanded, his warrior implants now flashing in obvious distress. Dr. Felix Marr smiled. "Oh, that is not a beverage container. None of them are. They are quantum entanglement nodes we have been seeding throughout your fleet for the past 6 months. Did you really think those supply ships you captured were carrying coffee?" My blood ran cold. 6 months ago, we had intercepted several Earth cargo vessels, finding nothing but containers of bitter brown liquid and something called Pop-Tarts. We had distributed their contents throughout the fleet as trophies. Quite ingenious, really, Dr. Felix Marr continued, taking another sip. Each mug is actually a sophisticated quantum computer designed to interface with your ship's systems. They have been gathering data, mapping your neural patterns, and preparing for this moment. Sung as if on cue, warning signals blazed across our bridge. Ships throughout our fleet reported their navigation systems were showing Earth in impossible locations. Some saw it above them, others below. Some reported Earth had transformed into a giant smiling face, what humans called an emoji. But the scout ships, I pressed, trying to maintain control of the situation. What have you done with our crews? Oh, they are perfectly safe. We simply relocated them to our containment facility. Would you like to see? The hologram expanded, showing a massive underground chamber where hundreds of our warriors sat in comfortable chairs, staring in fascination at walls covered in moving images. "What are you doing to them?" Tral growled. "Introducing them to Netflix?" Dr. Felix Marr replied cheerfully. "They are currently binge-watching something called The Great British Bake Off. Most of them are quite invested in who will win the technical challenge." Another scout ship vanished. Its last transmission a request for something called a recipe for Victoria sponge cake. "You see, Admiral," Dr. Felix Marr explained, "Project Nightmare was never about traditional warfare. Why destroy when we can convert? Your crews are not being tortured, they are being entertained, and entertainment, we have found, is the most addictive weapon in the universe." The hologram shifted, showing more of the facility. Some of our most decorated warriors were now engaged in heated debates about something called fantasy football. Others were attempting to replicate human dance moves from viral videos. A group of elite commandos appeared to be crying over something called the Notebook. "This is a violation of every war convention in the galaxy," I protested, watching my invasion force succumb to human culture one ship at a time. "War convention?" Dr. Felix Marr raised an eyebrow. "But Admiral, we are not at war. We are not at war. We are sharing our culture. Is that not what you wanted when you demanded our integration into your empire?" A new alert sounded. Our quantum drives were activating across the fleet, but not to our commands. Ships began disappearing in flashes of light, their crews all making the same request, just one more episode. "Your ships are being redirected to our entertainment facilities," Dr. Felix Marr explained. "Do not worry about their safety. We have prepared comfortable viewing rooms, unlimited snacks, and complete access to our streaming services. Though I should warn you, some of your crew members have already started writing what humans call fan fiction." The last thing I saw before the quantum drive engaged on our flagship was Dr. Felix Marr raising his coffee mug in a toast. "Welcome to Earth's culture, Admiral. I recommend starting with something light, perhaps Brooklyn Nine-Nine. After all, resistance to binge-watching is futile." Our remaining fleet regrouped at the outer edges of the solar system beyond Neptune's orbit. The silence was deafening. No more entertainment broadcasts, no more vanishing ships, no more coffee mugs playing human music. The quiet should have been comforting. Instead, it made our scales crawl. "Status report," I demanded, looking at the pitifully small number of ships still under our control. Commander Tral, his warrior implants now covered with black tape, consulted his data pad. 78% of our fleet is compromised, Admiral. The humans are not destroying our ships. They are simply filling them with something called Wi-Fi and letting our own crews do the rest. A transmission cut through our communications blackout. The face that appeared on our screens belonged to a human male with striking gray eyes and a gentle smile that somehow made him more terrifying than any enemy we had ever faced. Greetings, survivors of the Valorian fleet. I am Dr. Nolan Creed, head of xenopsychology at the Earth Defense Force. I thought we should have a chat about what you are experiencing. Block the transmission, I ordered. We cannot, sir, our communications officer replied. It is coming through our personal dental implants, the ones we use for private communications. Dr. Pierce nodded sympathetically. Those quantum fillings you all received last cycle during your mandatory dental check. Another delivery system for our influence. Very clever of your dental officers to not notice they were actually receiving our technology. Though, to be fair, they were quite distracted by funny cat videos at the time. The revelation sent shockwaves through the bridge. Our own medical personnel had been compromised months ago. How deep did this human infiltration go? Your species fascinates me, Dr. Pierce continued, his voice taking on a professional tone. Such advanced technology, yet such predictable psychological patterns. Did you know that every member of your crew has exactly 7 recurring dreams? We mapped them all months ago. Would you like to know yours, Admiral? Old sweat formed under my scales. The dreams. They had weaponized our dreams. Your favorite nightmare, Admiral, involves a human invention called a rubber duck. Completely harmless in reality, but in your dreams. He smiled knowingly. Tell me, why do you think it keeps asking you to explain your battle strategies to it? Crew members began abandoning their posts, clawing at their dental implants. Others curled into fetal positions, humming human television theme songs to drown out their thoughts. The brilliance of psychological warfare, Dr. Pierce lectured, as if teaching a class, is not in causing fear. It is in allowing you to terrify yourselves. Everything we have done simply builds on your existing anxieties. For instance, that feeling you have right now that this entire conversation might be happening inside your head. We did not plant that doubt. You did that all on your own. Commander Trowell suddenly screamed and ran from the bridge, shouting something about needing to catch up on a human show called The Walking Dead before the next season dropped. Your empire spans galaxies, Dr. Pierce continued, but you never considered that a species might focus on conquering minds rather than territory. Even now, your remaining crews are not asking if they will break, but when. The fear of that inevitable surrender is far more effective than any weapon we could design. New alerts flashed across our systems. Ships across our formation began broadcasting distress signals, not from external attacks, but from internal panic. Crew members reported seeing human memes in their dreams, hearing human music in their thoughts, craving human snack foods they had never even tasted. For example, Dr. Pierce smiled, none of you have noticed that your universal translators have been gradually changing your perception of language every time you think you are speaking Valorian. You are actually quoting human movies. Commander Vex's last words, straight from Terminator. Your orders this morning, all Star Wars references. I opened my mouth to protest and realized with horror that he was right. Every word I had spoken in the last hour had come from human entertainment. Even my thoughts were not my own. I will leave you with this question, Admiral Dr. Pierce said softly. In a universe where you cannot trust your own minds, your own memories, or even your own dental work, what exactly do you think you are fighting for? The transmission ended, leaving us alone with our doubts, our fears, and the growing suspicion that none of this was real, or worse, that all of it was. Not a human laugh, one of our own. A young navigator stood up from her station, looked at her display screen, and started laughing. The sound echoed through our command bridge, bouncing off walls that might or might not have been real anymore. "Sir," she said between fits of laughter, "our entire navigation system is just running something called Google Maps." Before I could respond, more crew members joined in the laughter. Our weapons officer discovered all our quantum torpedoes had been replaced with what humans called party poppers. The shield generator crew reported our defensive barriers were powered by something called positive vibes. "Admiral," my last loyal communication officer called out, "mass transmission from the fleet. They are requesting shore leave on Earth, all of them simultaneously." The remains of our once mighty armada began moving without orders. Ships broke formation in every direction, their crews no longer even pretending to maintain military discipline. Some headed straight for Earth's entertainment centers. Others decided to recreate something called Tokyo Drift in the asteroid belt. That is when she appeared again, General Mara Steele, now accompanied by Dr. Pierce and Dr. Felix Marr, their images hovering above our bridge like a tribunal of our failures. "Your fleet has reached its psychological breaking point," Admiral Stone announced, not unkindly. "Would you like to know what finally did it? What brilliant strategy or advanced technology finally broke the mighty Valorian Empire's will to fight?" "Social media influencers," Dr. Felix Marr answered cheerfully. "We showed your crews how many followers they could get on TikTok. The potential for viral dance videos proved more tempting than their military oaths." My own command staff began abandoning their posts, muttering about starting YouTube channels and becoming Instagram models. Centuries of military tradition crumbled before the promise of internet fame. "But that is not the real revelation, is it?" Admiral Dr. Pierce leaned forward, his gray eyes seeming to peer into my soul. "Tell them what you have figured out. Tell them what you know about Earth's true capabilities." The realization had been building in my mind, a terrible truth I had been fighting to deny. You could have destroyed us at any time. Finally, General Stone smiled. "Please continue. The coffee mugs, the dental implants, the entertainment centers, those were not your weapons. They were your mercy." My voice cracked as the full horror dawned on me. "You have quantum manipulation technology beyond anything we have ever seen. You could have turned our ships into origami cranes, could have transformed our weapons into flower bouquets. You could have simply wished us away." "Give him the final piece," Dr. Pierce nodded encouragingly. "The memes, the social media, the streaming services, they were not just weapons. They were a choice you offered us. Entertainment instead of extinction. French instead of annihilation." I sank into my command chair, my scales losing all color. We were never the invaders. We were the invasion practice. "Humanity learned long ago that the best defense is not a bigger gun," General Stone explained. "It is making your enemy question if they want to fight at all. Every species we have encountered has come expecting war. We simply show them a better option." "But why?" I whispered. "Why show mercy to those who came to conquer you?" Dr. Felix Marr grinned. "Because converting enemies into fans is much more entertaining than converting them into debris fields. Also, your species makes excellent reaction videos." My final command was interrupted by the ship's entertainment system playing something called "Never Gonna Give You Up" for the 173rd time. The remaining bridge crew broke into perfectly choreographed dance moves, moves I realized with horror I somehow knew as well. "Your fleet is now under our protection, Admiral," General Stone declared. "Your crews will be given full access to our entertainment networks, social media platforms, and streaming services. We look forward to their contributions to human culture. And what of our empire? I asked, already knowing the answer. Check your empire's most popular search trends. Doctor, Pierce suggested. Spoiler alert, they are all about Earth's cat videos and something called K-pop. As the transmission ended, I looked around my empty bridge. My mighty invasion fleet had been reduced to a collection of social media enthusiasts and binge watchers. And the worst part, I found myself wondering what would happen next on that baking show. Computer, I said, surrendering to the inevitable. Pull up Netflix and find me that show about the rubber duck. I need to know why it haunts my dreams. They let me keep my rank insignia. It sits on my desk next to a collection of rubber ducks, each one a reminder of how completely we misunderstood humanity. The ducks no longer frighten me. Now they make me laugh, much like everything else about our failed invasion. Today marks one planetary rotation since our surrender, though humans prefer to call it the Great Subscribe. Our mighty invasion fleet now serves as the galaxy's largest collection of content creators, streamers, and social media personalities. Commander Vix, fully recovered from her initial breakdown, runs the most-watched cooking channel in 3 galaxies. Her fusion recipes combining Valorian crystal spices with human comfort food have earned her something called a Michelin star. She cried during the awards ceremony. We all did. The peace negotiations were unlike anything in galactic history. I dictate into my personal log, watching Earth's sunset from my new office in what they call New Zealand. The humans demanded only 3 things: cultural exchange programs, unrestricted access to our communication networks for their entertainment content, and a promise to help them spread something called pizza across the galaxy. General Stone visits sometimes, usually bringing takeout food and new movie recommendations. Yesterday, she explained why they chose their method of defense. Any species advanced enough for interstellar travel, she said, sharing something called garlic bread, is also advanced enough to cause massive destruction. Traditional warfare would have ended with both our civilizations damaged or destroyed. We chose to make you question not your ability to fight, but your desire to. Pierce's Psychological Warfare Division has been reformed into the Intergalactic Cultural Understanding Department. They now help our species process the trauma of having our entire military philosophy upended by cat videos and cooking shows. The waiting list for therapy sessions is 3 months long. The true power of humanity, I continue my log, lies not in their hidden quantum technology or their psychological expertise. It lies in their ability to make peace more entertaining than war, friendship more appealing than conquest, and cultural exchange more profitable than resource theft. Felix Mars' Project Nightmare has been declassified. Those coffee mugs really were just coffee mugs. The quantum fillings were regular dental work. All the advanced technology we thought we detected was simply humanity's greatest weapon, our own paranoia, combined with their overwhelming cultural influence. To any species considering invasion of Earth, I speak now with the weight of experience. Be warned. They will not fight you with weapons. They will not defend with traditional armies. They will simply invite you to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. The casualty report from our invasion remains the most bizarre in military history. 0 deaths, 0 injuries, 27,000 ships captured by consensual crew desertion, 3 million warriors converted to social media influencers, 1 empire transformed by the power of binge-watching, uncountable hours lost to watching just 1 more episode. Our civilization has changed. I conclude my final log. Our empire now measures its worth, not in conquered worlds, but in streaming subscribers. Our military budget has been redirected to improving our broadband connectivity. Our most feared warriors now worry about their follower counts and engagement metrics. A notification pops up on my screen. Humanity has just released their documentary about our invasion. It is trending across all platforms. The comment sections are filled with Valorians and humans arguing about whether the rubber duck scenes were over-dramatized. I check my own social media feed. Another strange phrase that now feels natural. My latest video, former Space Admiral trees human ice cream for the first time, has gone viral. The humans find our reactions to their food entertaining. We find their reactions to our reactions even more entertaining. In conclusion, I say, preparing to end my final military log, we came to Earth expecting to find primitive warriors. Instead, we found master strategists who conquered us not through force, but through likes and shares. They defeated us not by destroying our civilization, but by making us want to change it ourselves. A message appears on my screen. Felix Marr, asking if I want to join their weekly game night. Something called Among Us. I accept the invitation, then turn back to my log one last time.